One Piece is by far one of the worst anime slash manga I've ever encountered. It's nothing but a long, never-ending, drawn-out, boring, repetitive, childish piece of shit that only idiots with bad taste can actually stomach.
Oh boy, this guy's gonna go in super fair. Can't wait to see how good of a point he's gonna make.
So let's get started. Why do I hate One Piece? Let's start with the story. The story in One Piece is by far one of the worst stories ever written. Now, I'm not even just talking about anime and manga. I'm talking about just of all time, like any form of medium, one of the worst stories ever fucking written.
So I'm guessing the recent numbers of 578 million people from around the world somehow all got together and agreed to pretend it's a good story just to get everyone else mad. Yeah, this sounds like a flat earther argument.
It's supposedly supposed to be about finding the One Piece, right? And becoming Pirate King. Yet barely anything that happens in the story has anything to do with that. The plot progression is so non-goddamn existent, it's ridiculous. This is how damn near every arc in One Piece plays out. Sail to an island, meet some boring new characters, get some corny, overdramatic backstory about the new characters, learn the island is being terrorized by a villain, Luffy decides he wants to help out his new friends and beat up the bad guy, and due to his plot armor he wins, rinse and repeat. That's it. Sail to an island and do the same shit for 900 chapters, and each island that they're sailing to, are they trying to figure out leads to find the One Piece? Are they trying to figure out how to do the, basically progress the story and find the One Piece and gather together clues and stuff? Hell no. They're just doing all types of shit that has nothing to do with the main story. All of this shit feels like filler. All of it feels like filler. Like, what has anything that they've done throughout the whole series had anything to do with finding the One Piece?
That's a totally fair question if you're new to One Piece. But the situation here is that the story's core goal, Luffy finding the One Piece to become Pirate King, is like the North Star guiding everything. But the barely related arcs aren't detours. They're essential world building that deepens the adventure, crew bonds, and lore, making the eventual payoff feel earned rather than rushed.
Now, I'll give you maybe, okay, he's the first 100 chapters where he's kind of like just assembling his crew, and then again, in typical One Piece repetitive fashion, we get the dramatic backstory for the character, then the character joins the crew, sail to another island, get the over dramatic backstory, character joins the crew. I could understand that because he's putting together a crew, but after the crew is assembled, why are they still not doing what they're supposed to be doing? Why are they still sailing to different islands doing things that have nothing to do with the story?
I think this guy is sped. So because they are not directly sailing to the final island where the One Piece is off jump, it is a waste of time and not relevant to it. So what I assume he wanted to happen was get all the crew and then go straight to the last island without any difficulties along the way. He wants just a bunch of shipmates sailing to an island without any story or plot on what's gonna be there or any new characters. Yeah, that would be such a good story, man. You should write some yourself. You do great.
It's ridiculous, man, and it just shows that this is pure milking at its finest. This is pure milking at its finest because the creator knows he can continue to milk this trash and the idiots will still watch it and read it. It's just crazy. The story is full of cheesy ass comedy that only an immature moron would find funny, full of snot infested crying. It's just way too childish. This is the most childish shonen out there. Nobody dies in this series. Like what? Out of the whole 900 chapters, the only two important characters that have died have been Ace and Whitebeard. Look at all the characters that died in the flashbacks, man. That's how pathetic One Piece stars are. These motherfuckers think people dying in flashbacks that were never even alive in the series, except for a flashback, count as characters dying.
Oh boy. Calling flashbacks deaths not real deaths is such a clown shoe argument. It's like saying background music doesn't count as part of the soundtrack because it's not the main melody. Total nonsense that ignores how stories work, buddy. Flashbacks are canonical events in the timeline, showing past deaths that shape characters, motivate plots, and add emotional gut punches without needing to happen to live for shock value. Dismissing them as non-deaths is bullshit because it arbitrarily gatekeeps what counts. Pretending backstory isn't integral when it literally drives the narrative. Oda and many creators uses flashbacks to reveal tragedies efficiently, avoiding info dumps and making losses feel profound rather than cheap kills. This guy has no idea what he's talking about.